Water Ivor, a decent unit. However, in my opinion, there's a few things wrong with this unit. Number one is it is a support classification. I feel that it is not a support unit at all. It's a unit that just does things by itself and doesn't really support the rest of your team. So I'm not sure why it's classified as a support unit. It feels like a bruiser to me. Number two is I am personally butthurt that you can't see that the stacks are active with this Might of the Clan, and you have to basically just try to pay attention to see, oh yes, it's doing more damage, oh yes, it's taking less damage. So there is a little cheat sheet that someone named Cat Bacon actually figured out. Cat Bacon and Undead Champion, so shout out to both of them. These are roughly the cutoffs for the passive, which is great, so that we don't have to guess too much, but it would be nice if there was some kind of visual indicator of if the passive was active for anything or not. I was so excited to get into the matches that we didn't actually talk about what the Water Ivor does. So the first skill is the defense break. Just like the rest of them, it's a small activation rate. However, you do have 2 hits, so there's 2 chances for that small skill to actually act, or the small chance to actually activate. Second skill, I'm not a huge fan of the continuous damage for a Nat 5. For a new Nat 5, attacking and doing some continuous damage. I mean, there's 4 stars that do significantly more than this. There's 3 stars that do significantly more than this. Is there 2 stars? Are there 2 stars that do more than this? Probably. Third skill, this is the one that actually matters, though. This has got to be buffed in the future. It is a brand new Nat 5. It is a collab unit. Why is this just doing continuous damage? And it's not like the cooldown's great. Oh, it's 3 turns cooldown, but still. This is what makes this unit strong. Grants up to 3 effects of Might of the Clan according to your stats when the battle begins. Attack power increases the damage dealt to enemies by 100%. Defense decreases the damage received from enemies by 30%. And attack speed removes 1 beneficial effect granted on the enemy. So, with a 50% chance if you attack on your turn. So, if you reach those certain thresholds, then it will activate these parts of the passive, which I wish there wasn't really thresholds, and I also wish that it was visually able to be seen, but this does make her a decent bruiser. So we see first pick Masha into Water Ivor, so they're either number 1, just playing with the Water Ivor because they feel like playing with it, it's a new unit, or number 2, they're using it as a counter to Masha, considering as long as it hits that certain speed threshold that we saw at the beginning of the video, it will strip Masha's immunity as part of the passive. All those defense breaks. This is going to be... Oh, I thought he was going to continue to go for the Ivor. He doesn't want to get that cleanse on the... from the Nikki. So, defense break, but the immunity is back. Girl's Prayer takes the defense break right off. Although they can just keep... oh, there we go. There's a strip on that. Man, their Molly strips. My Molly doesn't strip. All right. Defense break. They actually land the defense break. And she's going to dismount right here. That does not... I thought that was going to kill, actually. I mean, Vertiheal for RTA is much tankier. Of course, much tankier than Vertiheal for dungeons. But, yeah, as long as we get that specific... those specific stat thresholds on the unit, then the passive will continue to activate. I don't know if I would have done that for the second round. I mean, there's C3, they know what they're doing, but I feel like the player on the right-hand side has a definite advantage. But let's find out. The Ivor doesn't really do a whole lot here, and they're going for it first, but it's going to strip, it's going to do some dots, it's going to do some defense breaks. They don't have enough sustain to really keep that Ivor around as long as they need it to. And it looks like they're probably not going to keep it around that long at this rate, because the opponent's just going for it first. So the damage mitigation passive did not really keep it alive. What would have been a more effective pick in that instance? Like Chow. Think about this versus Chow. Chow would have stayed alive longer. It would have been tankier. It would have been able to handle with a crazy high base HP, and then you could stack more HP than defense, because you have to stack defense for the Water Ivor, right? So with Chow, you can go a little bit more on the HP, and a better, like, what, 3,000 difference in base HP as well. So, and the heal, that Chow would have survived longer, and probably done more in this matchup. I'm not sure what matches I'm going to include in the final video that you guys are seeing, but we did see a bunch of her not really do much of anything. Maybe I should include those matches, but they're kind of boring, so I'm almost convincing myself now that I prefer Chao to her, or Miles, or some of the other water bruisers. I just think that they do more. Also more. Just kidding. It was a nice ignore defense though, but it's not really, that was not really the unit that we were looking to see stuff on. And goodbye. And that's the whole spotlight. Hold on. Can we see some crazy comebacks here? All right. Ignore defense. Are they able to take her out, or is she going to violent oh, never mind. All right. But you got to think, if they picked something else instead of Ivor, would they have had a better chance to win? Two teams of bruisers. This should be a very, very exciting match that takes about 35 minutes to see who violent procs more. Just kidding. They have at least 2 defense breaks on the right-hand side. So something that I didn't mention at the beginning of the video, we did mention the passive stripping, but we didn't mention that Ivor has multi-hits, which is going to potentially strip multiple times in the same skill. So I think that is definitely something that we need to mention, and I should have mentioned that at the beginning, but at least we're mentioning it at some point in the video. So I guess we have to include this match, even if it is doo-doo. Even if it's hot doo-doo. Because I want to make sure everyone knows that, and I don't want to forget to say it. Alright, it looks like the team that has kind of less damage is actually doing more damage, which additional damage and artifacts, we know that that's why. Let's see if Ivor does some crazy stuff. Violent procking and doing all the damage with the passive on top of the defense break. That is going to get cleansed off right now. That's the, not that skill. That's not that cleanse skill. Alright, so strips multiple buffs right there. I wonder if it should just steal the buffs. Because then the skill 2 wouldn't be so bad. It's a multi-hits, so 3 attacks, strip into dots, not that bad. Although Diana kind of strips into dots and then also turns cycles and then also has 2 different forms. So it's basically just a water it's a weaker water Diana. Crap. I figured it out, guys. It's a weaker water Diana. But Diana's great because turn cycling. So at least it did stuff, but so I like the stats. I like the fact that the stack stat. I wish that there was some kind of indicator, but there isn't. Either that or it's very subtle and I somehow missed it. But I checked it out even in the test mode. I like the multi-hits. I just wish it did more than continuous damage. I feel like continuous damage is not a Nat 5 thing. I feel like continuous damage should be for Nat 2s, Nat 3s, Nat 4s. It's like a thing for dungeons. I really feel like it shouldn't be... Unless we're talking about Rico, who's just like all the continuous, like 9,000 continuous damage. Then it's a different story. Then it's like, okay, you're killing things with all this continuous damage instead of just like, here's a dot. Here is a dot here. Like the Dragon Knight's first skill. And then what else? Chimera's first skill. Just the continuous damage. I'm like, this is fantastic. We could kill things with continuous damage one at a time in TOA hell. Very excited to bring the Chimera and just skill 1 on every opponent. Every single... Obviously, that's a joke. But I'm still not a huge fan of the continuous damage for Nat 5s. Unless it is Rika level continuous damage. Let me know if you guys agree. I feel that there's gotta be some of you that agree with the sentiment that they want like defense breaks or stuns or some kind of more fun thing than continuous damage. Every match I'm kind of back and forth. I'm like, oh, this could be good for this. This could be good for that. I like it. I don't like it. I am officially on the fence about this unit. I like some things. I don't like some things. I like the extra stats. I like the because there's a few different things that they can strip here. They had a they also had the water monkey, which they banned, but they could have stripped with the Ivor. That Water Monkey's invincibility and immunity, so I think that they could have actually banned something else and been in a better spot. And just left that monkey. Because it would be good against the Theomars, right? Because Theomars procs his passive upon receiving fatal damage. So it could have been good against that. It could have been good against the monkey. And Riley kind of element disadvantage. And Riley's going to do a lot more. But at least it strips the things that... Oh my goodness. The Theomars doing some work today. There we go. But it could have actually been strong against Masha, against Shihao, against Water Holly Berry. I don't think that this unit has any place here. I think that it is really good against certain units, and I just cannot seem to find anyone using it against the units that I think it is good against. Like, you would think that with so many Mashas being picked, you would see a lot. There's some Masha into Ivor, but really, I was expecting so many more people to be like, oh, there's a Masha, here's an Ivor. Maybe not directly afterwards, but Masha, Josephine, Shihao, Wusa also, although they're picking it with the Wusa, would have been strong against the Wusa. It is going to be decent against the unit that just revenged because it didn't strip anything, but it didn't strip anything on the Ethna. That's not that shocking, right? So should be decent against this Holly Berry now. So let's see. They don't go for the Holly Berry, right? Well, Holly Berry is just going to get another turn of that anyway, so it really didn't matter going against that right away. But Vertiheel and Wusa is a very strong combination. That's like basically infinite immunity, shields, damage, heal. Wusa is just a fantastic unit. Man, Vertiheel is so good though. Vertiheel just makes everything better. Not stripping. Lovely. They might not actually. Wow. There we go. At least they got the defense break, a buff. The defense buff. Listen, guys, I don't know which one is which. Okay. And that should be... Oh, never mind. I was going to say that should be GG there. Okay. And now... yeah, they had to go for it. They had to go for it. Unless he procs... Nah. First pick Tianlang. I would not do first pick Tianlang, because when you first pick Tianlang, I would like first pick a Molly before I'd first pick Tianlang. The beautiful thing about Tianlang is there's so many units that cycle attack gauge that if you last pick Tianlang, then it's either force bed, or maybe they're first picking it so the opponent can just bring a whole bunch of counters to it and just leave it on the battlefield, and they're like, I can actually play with my Tianlang now. The Tianlang seems to not really be... There we go. He almost went down. Let's see if Ivor... Because Ivor can still strip, right? So there's defense breaks, and there is the opportunity here. Didn't really do anything crazy. It basically has a built-in attack power buff. It should be always crazy. Should be just crazy that can't be stripped crazy. Strip the attack power buff as part of the passive. Not bad. I think that they should be fine. There we go. What? 2 water picks right at the beginning. Oh my goodness. So we know the Masha's staying on the battlefield, of course. And the Gianna gets banned. Rip Gianna. But they do have Ivor countering several of these units. All those buffs. Let's see. Do they get a proc? No proc. They didn't even have to worry about doing skill 1, skill 2, because skill 1's kind of better, so why not? And it's the value of that unit is just in the passive. So, goodbye, Dominic. Oh my goodness, not goodbye, Dominic. Although Masha's not going to last very long. Although Masha's going to all of a sudden last very, very long. Yeah, he's like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this crap. Riley the nuker. Make a rage Riley soon. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to. Should probably be terrible. Should definitely be. She attack power buffs herself, so there's that. Rage Riley. No. we just can't. We're going to see it on Siege Defense now. Good old Rage Riley. Oh my god. The thing of nightmares. No, actually, I would put... Please put Rage... please put Rage on Riley. I wouldn't have to deal with all the violent procs and healing forever. You just kill the first time. Okay. We're not seeing a whole lot of what she can do now, but she was at least picked into a comp that made sense because she has a decent amount of strips. I would have really liked to see the Shihao, though. The Shihao match. Or the Shihao in the match. When they banned him. When they picked the Ivor and then they banned the Shihao. That was kind of a bummer. I was like, oh, that's actually a good pick into that. So, yeah, the good old not having it activate. It's my favorite. That's my favorite thing. Okay, so now they don't even need to do skill 2. Just go for skill 1. It's a better skill. One less hit, but I would rather have a defense break. For PvP, I would rather have a defense break than... Oh my goodness. Don't you kill this unit. This is her only chance to shine. Oh my goodness, this is silly. It's the one chance that this unit has, and it's just constantly CC'd the entire time. That was so anticlimactic. That's an interesting draft on the left-hand side. I don't know how else to really describe it, but it's an interesting draft. Bans Daphnis, bans Bulwark. Ivor, pretty decent here. There are multiple units on the other side. How much damage is this? Not very much damage. So, not very much damage for a few reasons. Number 1, no attack buff, defense break. Obviously, that goes without saying. Number 2 is damage mitigation passive on top of high defense, because we know that that unit has high defense. Maybe not crazy high defense, but at least decent defense. So, multiple units that do buffs on the opponent's side, and Ivor is going to be in there stripping a whole bunch of stuff. 3 strips there. They didn't really get punished that bad for the draft on the left-hand side. Man, that Battle Angel's really not paying out like they wanted. Cool time down. Wow, that was brave with the water unit. That was brave. Yeah, soul protection. I don't know. Why am I announcing the soul protection? I don't know, guys. There's just words. They appear on the screen, and I say them. Welcome to my job. I'm like those people that just read billboards on the side of the road. Yes, those people. I know. Everyone hates them. I know. I'm doing just that exact same thing right now. Okay. Lots of... This is what's going to kill their team. Lots of continuous damage. Additional turn, but they couldn't cleanse anything off. And I feel like Ivor is actually going to... Yep. First pick Rakuni into an Ethnaperna. Not the draft I thought I was going to see today, but there's been a lot of that going around today. Okay. It's an interesting comp on the right-hand side. And it's not like it's like a fighter 2 comp. It's like... I see the strategy, actually. So it's a Bruiser Light Bison Bulwark Perna. Oh, that's not the turn order I thought it was going to be in, though. But Bruiser Light Bison is going to stack the Bulwark, and then Perna Bulwark is going to nuke something. I thought it was going to be the other turn order, though. All right, some damage into the Perna. I don't know if they are going to be able to Water Ivor their way out of this match, because it's already basically 5 versus 3. So, because Perna's got 2 lives. That's why I'm counting 5. I'm not that crazy. I mean, I am that crazy, but I'm also I am that crazy. Yeah. How many turns? How crazy does this get? All right. 1 down. So it's 4v3. Actually, that Hay Gang is not really doing that much in there. I don't know why I'm counting him as a unit. He's really not doing a lot. So maybe it's not quite 4v3. All right. Yeah, I think they actually have this. Because, again, the Hay Gang's not really going to do much. And, you know, or die. Yeah, that's why people have been picking the Masha over the Perna. Because Masha would have done more there.